Coffee Monday is more than a podcast. It's a movement to reshape the way we approach Mondays and the week ahead. It's about embracing the reality that work doesn't have to dominate our lives. It's about finding that sweet spot where passion, purpose, and a cup of motivation connect. Filmed and recorded in California's Central Valley, join me, your host, Ray Pardini Matson, as I invite thriving professionals to share their stories of how they're crafting a life that's both vibrant and balanced. So Alexandra Franco, I call you Allie, but Profesh, big girl name. Founder, professional organizer of Elegantly Organized. I'm so excited to have you here today.
So excited to be here.
What a treat.
I mean, I feel like it was yesterday.
I know.
I moved back to Fresno.
I know.
You were back.
That's
true.
It
was just a really fun, wild time.
It was. We grew up together, went to school together, left and came back, did the whole boomerang thing, moved back around the same time-ish, I would say, and have since you have 2 daughters, I have 3 littles, we're both married, and here to stay. And have our businesses here.
I know.
Yeah.
What a blast. It's so exciting. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here and just to really enjoy sharing my knowledge.
I am so excited to share your story, to share your knowledge. I have so many questions. I think we could all benefit from your services and your expertise. And the timing of this, I think, is really great. So this episode is publishing end of December or right before the new year starts. 2025, ready or not.
Here we come.
I know.
Here. That's wild. This past year's just gone.
I know.
Yes.
It has. And I think with Thanksgiving late, it's kind of thrown, at least me, of everything off like boom, boom, boom.
All of a sudden, I'm like, we are in December. Okay, time to get ready for all the magic.
I know.
But I'm ready for 2025. It's exciting. I think it's going to be a great year.
I am too. I also feel like, new year, fresh start. I mean, as cheesy and lame as that sounds, like it's a thing. I feel like we all want kind of a reset, right?
100%.
So I always like to give our listeners, people that are watching, context and story to our guests. So however, whatever you want to share about your upbringing and kind of growing up in the Central Valley.
Okay, so it's quite an eclectic story of my upbringing here in Fresno. Yeah. I am a very proud Central Valley gal, born and raised. My mom's family's all here. We have a large family, and went to Bullard Talent.
Yep.
We're the arts academic, baby. Love it.
I love it.
Had a great time. Really formed a lot of great lifelong connections here. And I think that's something really special about the Central Valley. It's the big town, small town vibe. And went to Bullard High School. Yep. Go Knights. We played volleyball together. Bullard was such a blast. And probably could have studied a little bit more, but it was still a wonderful experience. Yeah. So after high school, I was looking into different colleges and looking in that direction, but I actually got the opportunity through family members who are actually Scottish, who live in Scotland, to go abroad. I was able to get a residency permit through my grandparents, who are born and raised in Scotland. Wow. Yeah, and I just felt going the college route for me just wasn't what I wanted to do. Straight off the bat, I wanted to work and experience and travel, and I've always been a little bit more of a free spirit in that way of, it's an adventure, let's go.
I love that.
So I think everyone was a little taken back because they were like, wait, you're moving to Scotland? Where's Scotland?
Because this is right out of high school.
Right out of high school.
Wow.
I enjoyed my summer after high school. And then in August at the end, I said, okay, here I go. Bye. Yeah, but I had nothing but excitement about it. And I think that's the type of person I am. I'm like, great, new adventure. Let's go. Let's check it out. I planned on being there for 6 months to just work a little bit, see family members, travel, see what happened. And then I ended up staying for almost 10 years.
Shut up. You were there that long?
I was there that long, yeah.
What?
Yes. It was wild.
I mean, I knew years, but my perception of time sometimes is not great. So,
It was in a blink of an eye, for me. So I started I moved there and I moved with family, which was great. Moved into the city of Edinburgh, which is the capital. And I joined a retail company called White Stuff. And I moved my way up from the age of like 18 to 21. I was there. And I was a sales manager.
Amazing.
So I did a lot of visual merchandising. I loved working with customers, and it was just a small little shop on the main street in Edinburgh. But I learned a ton, loved the people. On the weekends, I would just travel everywhere because in the UK you could fly very easily to Norway or Italy or France because they have the low budget airlines.
Yeah.
You barely get a chair, but I mean, you're there.
You're there
for five euros.
Yeah, amazing.
£5.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that. But then I was like, you know what? I'm really good at marketing. I felt in that way. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to invest in myself again and apply for university. And I did, and I got in.
Amazing.
Went to the university in Edinburgh for business management with marketing. And over there, you're able to do a master's in 5 years. So I did my master's.
Great.
Yeah. Did my master's there, did my thesis.
How old were you when you started university?
21.
Yeah, I love
So I started a little
that.
bit later.
Which is kind of great, right? Because I do feel like, just in general, this is a loaded statement to make, but
okay.
I mean, when you're 17 or 18 years old, do you really know what you want to do?
I did
when
not.
You grow up? I mean, even when you're 21,
Yeah.
do you really know what you want to do when you grow up? So that's kind of great that
Yeah.
you were able and you could take the time to figure that out.
Yeah, and I had the
before you made that
opportunity, and I think I just knew, I was like, you know what, why waste time in college when I don't really know what I want to do,
Yeah.
and I just wasn't really ready for it. And
Yeah.
it's kind of in Europe and in the UK, everyone takes gap years to go travel, to go learn. In America, it's not so much. It's more
Yeah.
you go to college, which is fine. But I kind of went the European route. I guess.
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, I did, went to university, traveled a lot. I worked in a restaurant because that was the best time frame for me to go to school and to work. So I really learned how to balance working while going to school. Met some amazing people.
Amazing.
A lot of my friends are still from Norway, from Greece, from France. So it's really fun to have such a cool community that I'm still very connected with in that way.
That's so great. What'd you study?
Business management with marketing.
Business management with a marketing focus.
Yeah.
And you got your master's. That's
I got my
amazing.
master's. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow. And my family flew over
For your ceremony.
for my ceremony. And it
love
was
it.
probably one of the most special
I
trips
bet.
that
Yeah.
to have them and be so proud. And it was a really great experience for me too,
Love
to be
that.
like, woohoo, did it.
Yeah.
Bet you didn't think I was going to do this. No,
so
but it was great. I learned a lot about myself, and it was a growth opportunity for me to come into my own and be like, okay, this is what real life is. And do you want to be on this side or do you want to be on this side? And it's like, I'm ready to get going on it. Yeah.
Love it. So did you stay abroad after you graduated?
I did.
Obviously, okay, 10 years, yes.
Yeah, so I did. I stayed for another 2 years. I moved down to London.
Amazing.
Did it was kind of like people from Fresno moved to LA. It's like people
Yeah.
in Scotland moved. It's like, let's
London.
go to London, the big smoke.
Yeah.
So I was in London. Friends from university also moved and
Fun.
lived there for a while. It was really difficult to try to find the right opportunity. I got to the last round with a large drinks corporation within their marketing department, but I said, if I don't get this role, I think it's a sign. I was starting to get homesick at that point. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I've done my travels.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. I've met amazing people. And then all of a sudden the homesick hit me after 10 years.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. I think it's time. And then
that's all part of the journey,
part of the journey. So when I wasn't offered the position with this company, I was like, you know what? Time to go home. And I was okay with that. So I was at peace. It was sad, but I was like,
Yeah.
let's get going home. So I moved home to Fresno for a year.
Yeah.
lived with my parents. I was like, okay, I just
Isn't that interesting coming back in your 20s and living with
my gosh.
living with the parents?
Yeah, it was wonderful though in the way that I got my feet back on the ground. I was here for a year. I worked for a home builder, which was great, learned a lot. Got to reconnect with friends here. And it was just, I think we were all trying to find our way in this kind of like limbo. So was here for a year and then thought, okay, I'm not quite ready to stay yet. So I moved to the Bay Area and started in a different field that I didn't really know about, but learned about within recruiting. Long story short, met my husband there. We were just friends, having a good time in San Francisco. And then we eventually joined some of the tech companies up there. So the Facebooks and the Googles, and that was within recruiting. Yeah, it was great. I loved the camaraderie. I got to see some really interesting tech before it came out, which was really cool. I was hiring for their Android teams and really working with all of the business partners on how we can create the best products and stuff. So yeah, it was great. It was so fun.
And I feel like there's parallels with business and sales and recruitment, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, there is, definitely.
Yeah.
So
love that. Gosh, how cool.
I loved it.
And you were young, you were not yet married. It's like that's
no kids, yeah. And I got to, so coming into my late 20s, it was like, okay, this is feeling right. This is feeling good. And then just really enjoyed that time in my life of being in the city.
Love it.
Yeah, and then I got engaged and got married in Sonoma, California. It was so beautiful. And quickly after, our beautiful Sailor was born. 2 weeks before the pandemic shut everything down in 2020.
She and Liv have the same, well, actually, no, Liv's a year older.
Okay, that's right,
Around the same time, birthday, but Liv's first birthday was days after the shutdown.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they're about a year apart.
I mean, I still look back, I'm like, did that really happen?
I know, what a blur.
So
you're back, you brought the hubby back.
I was like, he's from Oakland.
Adjusted, right? And he loves it. I know, that's so great. I talked to him about that.
He adjusted easier than I did. It was so funny. He's like, as long as I can get a hot tub and join the Racket Club, YOLO. Like, let's do it. And he's really built a nice community for himself too, because that's sometimes hard. Like,
yeah, I would think so, right? You want to make sure that they're adjusted and happy, but also it is different when you're from here and you move here versus if you're not.
Correct.
Because you're just trying to find your way and find your people.
I was really proud of him for being able to, he's such a personable human and always up to try something new. Started playing tennis, never played tennis before. He loves a bit of pickleball and all the things. So he's always looking to do something new and meet interesting people because he's very into music and sports and all of it. So it was fun for him.
So you've been back now since when? What year?
We moved back June 2020.
Okay, 2020.
Had the baby February 2020, moved June 2020.
Yep. I know, crazy.
I was like, let's get out of here.
Let's get out. And then did you like jump into work when you moved home, or how did your path take you to organize?
I know. It's such a I look at it as such a fun adventure. I like adventures. So I was still on maternity leave after my first, went back to Meta, Facebook.
Okay. Yeah.
Was still on my team there.
Working remote?
Working remote.
Which, I mean, now is like fully
acceptable,
right?
When we left the Bay Area, we were like, we'll just ask for forgiveness later. I was like, I'm moving. I was like, this thing's going to last longer than we think, probably.
Yes.
So it worked out. I was remote, enjoyed going back. And then October 2020, I found out we were pregnant again with my beautiful second daughter. Beautiful surprise.
Yes.
Little Isla.
Yeah.
So we had our second baby. I was on maternity leave again. And then I went back to work. And by the way, the best maternity leave from the company I was with. So I was very grateful for the support.
Awesome. Yeah.
So then I went back to work after my second daughter, and it was great. And love my team, love what I was doing, but I just wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't fulfilled of it wasn't my passion. I was good at what I was doing. Great company, fun perks, great everything. But there was something in me that was telling me, you know what, something else is bigger for you, for my own passion. And I was like, okay. My friends and family, whenever they would come over to my home, they'd be like, you are so organized. And I've never noticed it myself. I just always liked things where they went, knew where they were.
Yeah.
I get anxiety very easily when it comes to
Like
unorderly things.
Yes.
And some of my best friends were like, look at your drawers. Like, I already had dividers in them because it just naturally, I knew I needed to do it. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
And they're like, you need to organize. You need to be an organizer.
Which is a thing.
And I didn't know it. I just didn't know. It just organically was happening. I was like, huh. So got my wheels turning. I was like, okay, organizing. What's look into it.
Look into this.
So
Yes.
I looked into it, starting an organizing company. How do I do it?
Yes.
I was like, okay, I have 2 kids under 2 right now. I'm going to tell my husband, hey, I'm going to quit my job
And start my own business.
start organizing. So I did a lot of research first, but I was like, you know what, this is getting me excited. I'm like feeling this passion and drive for this. So I looked up franchise opportunities.
Yeah.
Marie Kondo had one. There was couple other companies, and I was like, you know what, let me see if I could join a franchise to learn.
Makes sense.
I don't know it all.
Right.
I'm not saying I like to learn. So I was like,
Right.
I joined a franchise, which was wonderful. Great people. I mean, their skills that they taught me, the women who founded it were fabulous. I got to go to Chicago and learn a ton. Like, it was great.
Amazing.
Brought it back here to Fresno. It definitely got some traction with clients, but then eventually I just didn't feel it was the right path business-wise for me.
Yeah.
To continue down.
Right. But you enjoyed the work. You enjoyed the
Loved
organizing. You enjoyed
Loved
the
it.
client interaction. All of that.
All of
Super
that.
rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah, and it felt great to be able to not only be a mother, which I think is such an important role, if not the most important, but also fulfill my area of wants, needs of working. I enjoy
Right.
working.
Love that.
So I left the franchise. They were very sad to see me go, but they totally understood. It just wasn't working within the Central Valley. The Central Valley is a very special niche area of referrals and who you know and the community.
Contacts,
Relationships.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think I realized, I'm like, all of my clients are really my own clients. So why am I having another company be involved when they didn't need to be?
Yeah.
So
Fair. So Elegantly Organized was
Organized was born. I took a little break. Just to take a deep breath and say, okay, is this what I want to do?
Yeah.
And I said, yes, it is what I want to do. And came up with the name. I just wanted to be simple, elegantly organized, because we really want people to feel that within their homes, their businesses, whatever space that we're going to. So that's how it's come. And it's just starting to get off the ground, which is a little scary, but at the same time, very exciting.
So exciting. And there's such a need, I feel. So you mentioned you organize homes, offices.
Yes.
There's really no project
We
that's
cannot.
off limits,
Nope.
right?
Nope. We're
What about
looking.
garages?
So garages are a different beast.
I bet.
We are happy to come do a consultation for garages, see if it's the right wheelhouse for us to be able to deliver on it. So, but yeah, we do everything from closets, pantries. We specialize in homes though. Like homes are our favorite because it's just where we feel we can best deliver our service.
Sure, and make an impact,
Make
right?
an impact and help the people within that home.
Yes,
Create a
right.
functional space for them.
So is there a certain type of organizing project that you enjoy the most, or do you have different ones that you like?
No, I definitely have I love a closet. I love a master closet. I feel closets allow you to start your day right. Like it allows for you to know when it's organized, like to get that even a self-esteem boost of like, okay, I'm going to take on this day. All my stuff is in the order that it needs to be. And here we go. Like it's just the first step into something. But I enjoy it as an organizer because I mean, who doesn't love a beautiful closet? Like
That aesthetically, right? Beautiful, but
Aesthetically.
also functionally, I do feel like, and I'm sure there's research that supports this, that like when you're organized, you're more productive, you're happier, you're less stressed, the anxiety's lower, all the things.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that so to my core.
There are many studies about even your mental health, as you were saying, that when you know where your items are, less anxiety, calm, chaos to calm.
Yes, more efficient. Like there have been so many times where I've looked for some random thing of the kids, of course, right before we're leaving the house. And I'm like, if only it was where it's supposed to be, you know?
Never though.
Never.
Yes.
And that's a different scenario. There's holiday cheer in every sip with Dutch Bros Holiday Trio of drinks this season. If you're a peppermint lover or looking to have a cozy drink by the fire, I suggest you head over to Dutch for some of these festive delights. This season, they're offering the hazelnut truffle mocha with soft top and caramel drizzle, candy cane mocha with soft top and candy cane sprinkles. And if coffee isn't your thing, but you still want a boost of energy, then I would suggest their new Winter Shimmer Rebel with soft top and shimmer sprinkles. The San Joaquin Flower Collective's Wednesday pop-ups are back. Join them every Wednesday from 9 to 11 a.m. at Sanctuary Coffee to enjoy a fresh cup of coffee, local flowers, and a delightful community experience. The beautiful floral centerpiece you see on our shows is styled by the incredibly talented Darcy Hovsepian of DH Floral, featuring flowers that are grown and sourced from local flower farmers in our Central Valley. This is made possible thanks to the San Joaquin Flower Collective, the first and only source for 100% locally grown flowers in the valley. Their mission: to reduce the need for imported flowers by providing an easy online ordering experience and fostering collaboration amongst flower growers and enthusiasts. Plus, their weekly flower pop-ups are the perfect place to pick up some stunning farm-grown blooms every Wednesday from 9 to 11. Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or simply a flower lover, follow along on Instagram at SJ Flower Collective for the latest updates and info on their fresh bloom pop-ups. Okay, so closets. I love a closet. I also love, just from an observation standpoint, a pantry. I feel like a pantry can also be very rewarding because all the containers and this.
I love it. The labels. Yeah. Don't get me on the labels. That's my
That's your jam.
I love it. We were at a client's home actually on Monday doing a beautiful little pantry, and it was already organized to a great, but we were able to come in, fine tune it a bit, insert the products that were needed because containment is so important with organizing.
Yeah.
And then with the labeling, and it just came out beautiful.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Okay, so without getting into specific numbers, how do you charge? Is it hourly? Is it by project? Let's start there. Again, we don't have to talk numbers.
Yeah,
Just
happy to
people that are
share.
Curious, right?
Yeah. So we charge hourly.
Okay.
Depending on the size of the space.
Okay.
We usually always like to organize in twos.
What do you mean in twos?
With a second person. It's usually myself and my lead organizer, or myself and another person that works with us. Yeah.
Amazing. So then let's talk process, right?
Yes.
I inquire, let's say, my pantry.
Yes.
Allie, I need you and your team to come help assess the situation.
Yes.
What is the process? Do you do a consult? Walk us through that.
Sure. So we always do a consultation in person because we really need to get a good idea about the space, the measurements, the volume of items to give a accurate proposal of how much time, because we charge hourly, that it's going to take.
Okay, so that's how you determine your estimate.
Correct.
Based on approximately how many hours it would take.
Correct. And we've gotten really good at visually seeing it and be like, okay, this is going to be a 4 to 6, 6 to 8, and a really large project, 8 to 10. And we like to space it out over a couple days if it's a larger project, because you're in people's homes. It's a very intimate space, and someone doesn't want you in their home for 10 hours.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
good point. Okay, that's
we
good.
like to set the project timeline so it works well for our clients. And what we always strive to provide is a white glove service. So we really want people to not lift a finger, not have to think about it. We come in and you are at peace to know that this space is going to be taken care of with that type of service. We remove all of the items that are being tossed. We don't like to say trashed items tossed.
Yeah.
But also any edited items that are needing to be taken to donations, we do all of it. So
So you do all of it, but do you guide the client on getting rid of things, or do they have to do that before, or how do you handle that?
sure. So we will guide you step by step on our process of how you can get an elegantly organized space. So the first step I always like to say is to find your space that you're looking to work within. We might have already come for a consultation and to edit your items. There's no secret sauce or recipe.
I was going to ask you that. That was one of my questions.
Okay.
It's like the whole Marie Kondo does this spark joy sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where you hear, if I haven't worn it in 6 months or a year, it's gone. Like,
Yeah.
do you have a rule of thumb of like when it's time to pass something along, or like any sort of strategies on that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But I really want my clients to feel, I don't want them to feel that pressure of like, you have to get rid of this. Like,
Yeah,
that's not what we're here for. We're here to support you in your editing efforts. And I always say 3 piles: keep, donate, toss. And within those 3 categories, before we come to your project, is items that you want to keep that, yes, we encourage ones that you do wear often, if it's clothing.
Yeah.
Or in a pantry, do you use this item anymore? Donate items are things that you might have excess of. You might have 20 sweatshirts. Maybe you can edit it down to
Right.
15 sweatshirts, and that can go to, and if they're in still good quality and they're not torn and they're able to be donated, donate pile.
Right.
And then a toss, things that are stained, it's not going to come out.
Yeah.
Ripped, torn, like things
Yeah.
like that. Broken items within a household or a business, just things that just need to be tossed. So stuff like that. That's how we.
So you would prefer that they have those things in the piles before you get started, or do you do that with them?
So we can happily do it with them, but I support the clients in saying,
Yeah.
before we come, I would suggest to
Probably
do
would
this.
help save on time
Yeah.
and be efficient, and
Yeah.
then they don't feel rushed to make a
Correct.
decision, right?
We don't want them to feel rushed or like the pressure of like, oh, just if you have the time to do it, we highly suggest before we arrive for your project day to implement these.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So then in theory, you come, you have the piles separated, keep, donate, toss, and then you do your thing.
Yeah.
Like, is the client involved at all in that process, or do you talk through like what the vision of the project's
Sure.
going to look like, or how does that work?
Yeah. So during our consultation before we arrive, I always like to get to know the client just personally and what their goal is. And it sounds a little bit funny, like, oh, what's your goal? It's like to get this thing organized.
Organized, yeah.
But it's a little bit more than that. Some people really want it to flow a certain way in their closet. Some pantries might have a gluten-free child, so a gluten-free section. So you really have to dive deep with your clients of, please tell me your 3 main goals and think about them in a way that like how it fits your family or you as a couple or whoever's in your household. And you get to learn that there are a lot more things than just getting it organized.
Yeah.
So really understanding the client and everyone's individual needs and wants. And there's a lot of people in the household sometimes too that have different areas. So
Right.
yeah.
And the functionality of the space, to your
Yes.
point. Like, gosh, there was an example that I saw. I followed all of the home edit Netflix series. I love that stuff. I'm just so,
Love it.
yeah.
I know.
I'm just so impressed. I wish I was that.
You can be. You will.
I have faith with you.
Just
I
wait till
will.
we see, your project that
So,
we're going to work on.
yes.
It's going to be
I know,
fabulous.
I'm so excited. But, they said something about like, if it doesn't work or it's not in reach for your child, for example, like, why are you doing it? Like, that's not sustainable. Things will get left where they shouldn't be, etc. So I like your question and your kind of vetting about the functionality of the space.
Yes.
So you talk through that in the consult, and then you go about like for your organizing process.
Yeah.
You said At the start of every project, everything is taken out of this space.
Yes. So we get into the space. Our team literally removes everything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything. So
Cleans everything out.
we wipe it all down. We get it.
Yes.
It's like a fresh canvas.
Yeah, I love that.
So then,
Which I think, side note, I think if somebody were to personally organize their space, right? I do feel like a lot of people don't do that.
no.
Like they don't take everything out,
No.
right? They're just like, oh yeah, that's expired. I don't need that. So
Well, and that's where it gets overwhelming
Yes.
for clients. If you don't take it all out, you don't know what you have. You need to know everything that you have, and once you categorize those items, that's when you're going to really get an idea of like, oh, I have 15 cans of ragu. Like, I mean, whatever it is.
So true.
So then maybe you could create a surplus area that doesn't need to be out per se, or donate. You know,
Love that.
there's different
Love that.
options.
Love it.
Yeah. So when, for example, a closet, when we take everything out, we'll categorize it into like dresses, t-shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve, and then we color code.
I was gonna say, then the color coding, right?
And the color coding, love. It's just so aesthetically pleasing. It elevates your space, whatever space it is. It could be an office with books, color code.
But it also is probably more functional for
It
the
is.
person, right?
Yep. Knowing, oh, I need a red shirt. Here we
Yes,
go, right
literally,
there.
boom.
Yes,
Love
quick, less anxiety, calm, ready to go.
Love it.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on shoe organization? I guess it depends on the space, right? But like obviously a lot of closets have built-ins with, shoe racks or shoe cubbies and whatnot. Is there some sort of hack for organizing shoes that you're like, oh, I've been loving this lately or something?
Yeah. So shoes are definitely a different beast.
Yes.
It's interesting because you would think, oh, they're just shoes, but they really have their own life. And we wear them on our feet every day. So I like to get to know what are your everyday shoes from the clients? Like, are you a sneaker gal or you're high heel gal?
Heels.
Yeah, boots, but also seasonality. You need to look at your season. So if you have a large space and you can keep all of your shoes out, we organize them into their categories. We have our tennis shoe area, heels, casual flats, boots, and so on. So categorizing it even to that extent.
Wow.
But then if it is a smaller space, which some people have a little studio somewhere, you still need to be able to have those tools. And I always recommend swapping them out in the seasons. So wintertime.
Where do you keep them in the interim? I guess it depends on your storage situation.
Depends on the storage. If you have a small space, you can get the long bins for boots under the bed.
Under the bed.
There's some nice ones that I'm going to be recommending in January for storage solutions.
I love it.
Under the bed that you can pull out, pull in. They're a little bit more elevated, aesthetically pleasing. But if you have the space to do it, usually the little risers are nice sometimes if you want to display shoes.
Yeah.
For the beautiful high heels. Because I mean, we've worked in some beautiful closets, and those clients really want to see their beautiful showcase. Yeah, and that's great.
Love that.
And then you have the really cool sneaker area. Like my husband's a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
And so I always like to highlight like for him so he can see which ones he has. I do a little trick of one out, one in, so you can see the front and the back.
The front and the back.
And it fits more, so it's more functional for the space. So there's a
it.
lot of little tips and tricks.
Then what do you do? Like we don't do shoes in our house.
You take them off at the front, So having a shoe.
It's just a disaster, Allie. It's so bad. I mean, we have a shoe rack, but like it's so bad.
So if you don't.
Clearly a personal problem.
No,
because
my family. The funniest thing is our biggest unorganized area is the shoe area. Because you come in, the little kid shoes, the big kid, boots. Wintertime, there's even more volume.
So we have a shoe rack in the garage. In theory, you put the shoes on the shoe rack. I even labeled them pie child. This is yours. This is yours.
Look at you.
And my husband.
I know.
Do you think that happens? No.
I know. And I think we have to be realistic. Like it depends on what stage of life are you in? Are you just with your partner? Do you have kids?
Yeah.
Right now, I feel I'm struggling with the same.
Yeah, right.
Out of all honesty, if you don't want to, there are the storage bins where you can just push them in. They can just throw their shoes into the bin rather than trying to put on a shoe rack, which I know my kids aren't. They'll try their best, but my little one will probably tell me something else if I tell her to say, honey, go take your shoes.
I know.
She'll be like, Mom, I'm out of here.
I know.
So,
well, I was just having that conversation with Michael, how we were having friends over. And I look around and I'm like, my house is clean, but there are Hot Wheels tracks in my living room. And I'm like, this is so bad.
No.
But also, whatever. You're my friends. If you're coming over, first of all, don't judge me. Second of all, this is our stage of life.
this is our stage of
And
life.
as much as I wish it was like perfectly clean and perfectly organized and everything is where it's supposed to be,
It's not realistic.
Michael literally was like, Ray, get over it. Like, it's not happening for probably another 3 to 5 years. So,
And that's the thing. In reality, it's our stage of life right now, and that's okay. It's okay. And I just feel having children has actually helped me, because I do feel like I had, to a certain extent, like over compulsive of like I couldn't go to sleep at night if I knew something was out of order. And this is my and no diagnosis or anything, but just my own.
Just your own, yeah. Well, I was going to ask you if you were type A, but clearly you are.
Very, 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 whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
But having my children being
Humbles you.
Yeah, humbles me, and being married and being like, oh, you're not going to do exactly what I want to do. Like it's been a good thing for my own nervous system. Bring it down a notch and know it's all going to be okay. But to take pride in, I do like my house organized, and my husband actually has learned. He's like, I love knowing where everything is. He's like, I never knew how to do anything like that. So it really has helped our household.
Well, there is a science and a skill behind it, which is so great that you're providing this service.
I love doing that and helping people. I think a big part of me starting this business was seeing when we did a reveal for clients and people were truly moved by it. Like I've had people cry like,
I believe it.
Oh my gosh. And it makes you feel like you're doing something good for other people. It's not just to work and enjoy what I'm doing. Like I really like helping people. And if I can do that by taking away the anxiety and stresses within their home or business or wherever their space is, then I'm doing my job.
100%.
And it's not even a job. It's a passion for me.
Yeah,
So
and to your point, you're helping with their mental health. You're helping with the efficiency
Truly,
of their home or their office or what have you. So back to the process, just so we can tie that up with the
tied
bow.
up.
I know we get sidetracked. So we got consultation, and then part of the consultation, I imagine, as we've talked about before, you'll let them know what the space is going to look like, if there's any sort of containers or containment, whatever you call it, right?
Yes.
What those might cost, what that would look like as far as like cost and visuals, and then you're there, you're taking everything out.
Yep.
And then you and your team kind of go in and make magic.
Yes.
With containing the items, having them labeled properly, right? And there's certain like functionality to how you do that, right?
100%. Yep. So that's exactly, we make the product recommendations based on our
certain sites, or do you have your own like like Amazon account or something?
We are happy. I always like to know if there's a budget we need to work within, because I want to respect if there's different areas there. So your Amazons, your containment store is a great one. They have really great products that we use. We do use Neat Method products. They are really good as well with their labeling systems are fabulous.
Amazing.
So yeah, we have a lot of great recommendations to work with everyone's budget, because the products are actually can get quite expensive.
I would think so.
Yes.
But also just make the world of a difference.
It's,
right?
I always say it's worth the investment if you're able to. So yeah, so we'll make the product recommendations, and it's up to the client. I will send over after the proposal the product recs that we have, and you can choose, this is what you'll need for the whole project. And if you want to go with all of it, awesome. It's going to be phenomenal.
Amazing.
If you don't want to, that's okay too, because I just don't want to put that pressure on them to feel like they have to buy this. But if they want to elevate their space, this is really going to help with the system that we're going to put in.
Love it.
Yeah.
Is there one like client project in particular that you feel like that sticks out to you or was like most rewarding?
So we have worked within some fabulous homes, offices, spaces. Like, I mean, stunning. So much fun. And that's another fun thing to do, to people just see the beautiful architecture within someone's closet. Like, But I have to say it was a really humbling project that I took on that wasn't necessarily in our wheelhouse. It was a client who had a slight hoarding situation.
I was going to ask you this.
Yes.
I was going to ask you if you ever dealt with a hoarder.
Yeah. So
I'm so used to watch Hoarding Alive.
it's
I find it interesting.
It's very interesting. We don't take on many projects in this.
So you did a
area.
consult and you noticed that clearly.
I took the consultation. She kind of told me before, and you could tell her hesitation in her voice.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to ever feel uncomfortable. There's no judgment. It's a judgment-free consultation. We are judgment-free company. Like, we are here to help.
Yes,
So I always like to remind people of that, because the first thing people say is like, oh my gosh,
I mean,
I'm so sorry. I know. And that's
well, because it's embarrassing. I mean,
And that's
really,
okay.
truly, and that's why they're seeking your services, right?
correct.
It's like,
That's
I
why
need
we
your
are
help.
here.
Yes.
And I always like to say it excites me the more challenging it is, because I know how great this space will look once we get our hands on it.
Yeah.
So back to the most memorable project was, this client had a hoarding situation. I asked my lead gal, Brooke, I said, would you be willing to work with me on this project? It's not what we usually take on, but I really feel the need to help her. She was a crafter. She did lots of like scrapbooking stuff everywhere, but to a hoarding extent.
Yeah,
And she's
like all over the house or certain rooms?
all
or?
over.
Oh, wow.
We broke it down. We were able to help with 2 of the main spaces that she wanted to work within.
Okay. Like a kitchen, living room? Or
It was 2 spare rooms that she had specifically for crafting.
okay.
She explained to us that she used to have people come over to craft with her and to do scrapbooking, because it's a whole community thing.
Yeah.
She's like, but I can't anymore because I'm just so embarrassed. And like, she cried. And I was like, don't worry, we got you.
Yes,
Don't worry.
Love it.
So it was a big 2-day project, the amount of stuff we were able to toss. And I told her, I said, you don't need to be here for this if it's going to be too challenging, because emotionally, mentally, it's hard.
Sometimes that's tremendously challenging to get rid of the
It's
items.
traumatic for people
Yes.
sometimes.
So how did she deal with that?
She said, you know what? I trust you. And
Amazing.
I don't know if that would happen often, but she goes,
Yes.
I won't be here. You guys can free reign over anything. Just
Wow.
so we really, we worked very hard on it. It came out beautiful. She was able to start scrapbooking again, have her friends over to do it. And
so great.
And it really made an impact on her life. And she still contacts me just saying like, thank you so much. I'm upkeeping the system. Cause I said, look, if you don't I showed her the different ways of how to put away her scrapbooks. We had labeling systems for all of her little trinkets they have all these little tools. And I said, once you're done, just try to put it away, because if you're not able to keep the system going, it's just going to return to how it was. So
Perfect segue.
she's doing great.
That's so great. And how rewarding.
It was rewarding. It was
Yeah.
rewarding. And it wasn't the most glamorous project, but it was the most meaningful for me, that I was like,
Really?
you know what? This is why I love what I do.
Yeah, amazing.
Yes.
That's the perfect segue into another question I like to ask, which is, once it's organized, how do you maintain and stay organized, right? So you said systems. Do you give your clients advice on how to keep the space so organized?
Yes.
Otherwise, what's it all for?
What's it
You're
all for?
gonna undo it
Exactly.
all, right?
Yes. So we support and encourage. We walk them through the system. For example, a pantry.
Yeah, let's give an example. Go for it.
Sample pantry, because we just did one. So a lot of people are in a household usually. It's not usually one on average. And so when we walk them through how we categorize the items, how we label them, how it flows within the pantry,
Yeah.
we recommend strategizing in the way of trying to put things back where they go. Like, okay, you take out the thing of pasta. Here's your pasta bin that says pasta. Just put it back in. Does it happen all the time? No. Does it happen all the time? No. But also encouraging them to, it is the hardest area of maintenance of,
Really?
yes, that's the hardest, of your spouse or your partner, your kids type of
Yeah.
thing. It's not as realistic as we think it would be,
Right.
but at the same time, some of the strategies that I recommend is just the upkeep of it, like keeping the bins where they are. If a label falls off, let us know. We'll happily come place a new one for you if you need one. Contacting us as well of like, hey, it's starting to get a little.
You could do like a little fix up.
So we do little refreshers. It's a little refresh.
Love it.
We can come, we can do a little refold of your clothes, come to your pantry, little tidy up in there, and then keep the system flowing. But
love that.
there's no special recipe for it, but it's really just staying on top of it and remembering categorizing, containing, labeling, like keeping it in that order of as best that you can.
What a concept. Putting things
I
back
know.
where they belong.
This is what they pay me the big bucks for to tell just put it
No,
back.
I don't mean it like that.
No, I know.
I mean, like that. It's just how
I
things
know,
get out of
I know,
hands If you
I know.
don't, okay.
I know.
So speaking of junk drawers, drop zones.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yes.
Let's talk all the things.
I love it. I love a junk drawer.
Really?
It's like the craziest thing. I know. It's counterintuitive, right?
I agree.
I love a junk drawer. Everyone needs a junk drawer. Everyone needs a drop zone. That's realistic.
Yeah, right. It's
But-
livable space.
It's livable space. However, every junk drawer can be beautiful, which I've mentioned before. You can have your little divide, depending on how big your drawer is. Some people have a smaller drawer. That's okay. There are small dividers that you can put in. Put your batteries in. Small little containment inserts that you can have. Batteries, keys, anything that's miscellaneous that doesn't belong or have a place in the house needs its home, which is the junk drawer.
So yeah,
Random pens, kids' toys. The list, as we all know, is endless of our junk drawer. Everyone needs one.
so you're saying that you organize the junk drawer?
Yeah, I do. Our junk drawer is full of junk,
Okay,
but
wow.
edit your junk drawer too.
Yes.
Like when those receipts or those
Yes.
little gift cards that have expired. Like,
Yes.
time to go through the system of keep, donate, toss.
Yeah.
But you need a junk drawer. I was at another client's home that you know, our good friend.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, this is the perfect location. It's in the kitchen.
Yes.
You pull it out. And she's like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, yes, it's okay. Allow yourself to have a beautifully organized junk drawer, drop zone, because that's what we need. It's life. It's realistic.
Life. Yeah, seasonality too.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so as far as refresh, you said refresh.
Yes.
We're gonna I think that was the word you used, like refresh. Like reassess.
Reassess.
How often? Like I guess it depends on like I don't know. Like does it depend on the space? Or like the pantry or the junk drawer or the closet? Like do you have like a recommendation on how frequently you should refresh?
Yeah, I do. So I would say realistically monthly.
Wow,
I would say
really?
monthly. Yes.
God, Allie, I
know.
thought you were going to say quarterly,
I
like seasonally. Wow.
So
okay,
I
that's
would
fine.
say-
Okay, good. This is good.
type A extreme monthly. I find that it allows for you to keep your system really on top of it. So
Yeah.
going in your closet monthly, going through your kids' clothes monthly, and just going through, donate, keep, toss, and
Yeah.
in the pantry too, expired items, just going through, and then it will really allow for that system to keep that flow of the elevated area of your
Yeah.
home or office or wherever you're working within.
I also feel like it's like anything, right? If you let it go for too long, it's going to take longer to fix it,
Correct.
right?
And then it gets overwhelming.
correct. So in theory, what you're saying is totally accurate.
And
because-
quarterly's fine. It's whatever works for your household, but I do recommend from my experience, monthly is a really good.
Yeah.
And I always like to recommend this little tip. It's called a transition bin.
Okay.
Transition bin in everyone's rooms, kids' rooms, your room. You can throw the items in during the month. Like, oh,
This is too small now.
small.
These shoes don't fit.
These
These
shoes-
socks are.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to overwhelm yourself. Just know that bin is there for you to put that whatever item it is that you feel like this doesn't serve us anymore. This is going to go either to a donation or it's going somewhere.
Love it.
So you can always have it, and it's an easy way of keeping organized to then continue.
Great.
Transition bins are really great.
Transition bin. I like
Yeah.
that. Have you ever done a playroom?
Oh, second favorite playrooms. It's probably the chat. I know.
But also, you want to talk about having a hard time maintaining the organization.
Oh, yeah.
At least for our kids'
Yeah.
ages.
Yeah.
You know, if they're older, I think it is different.
Yeah, it is. Playrooms are a beautiful space in the way of how much fun you can have with the aesthetics of a playroom.
Yeah.
The fun colors, the bins, the labels. Playrooms are a little bit wild though, because there's so many different categories of toys and going through it all. But once you're able to set it up and a system for the kids' ages, I like to find the ages of the children, what they're really playing with right now, and then transitioning the toys out.
Yeah.
Every
I
couple
have friends
months.
that do that. It's like
Yeah.
a brand new playroom. 'Cause
Yeah.
they don't, at the younger ages, they don't even remember the toys.
I know.
Like, oh, this is new. It's like, it's not new, actually. You just haven't seen it in a few months.
And they have a lot of great storage solutions for playrooms as well. So those are really fun. I have kids. I guess that's a chapter I'm into. So I'm like,
Yeah, that's fun.
I know these toys, and these would
Yeah.
be great here. And this is how you can store magnetiles and
Yeah.
all this type of stuff. But when it comes to keeping the system in place for a playroom, don't overwhelm yourself. But I go room by room when I can and do little tidy ups, it's called. Like just a little, just keeping it organized in that way.
Yeah.
But go room by room. Don't start a whole thing and stop at one room, go to another room. You really have to have that strategy of like, okay, until this room is done, then I'll move on to the next.
I talked about that at the women's
Yeah,
conference
yeah.
a little bit. Like just the efficiency of taking
yeah.
it one room at a time, in
Yes.
theory, or one project
Yeah.
at a time, right?
The kitchen. To just
Yeah.
get the dishes done and then
and then move on. To
yeah,
the next
and it's time consuming. It's and if what you can do is what you can do, but it really makes that experience of keeping an organized life. You
Yeah.
get into a rhythm of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So organizing on the go. As a mom of two young girls, you're running around, dropping them at activities, school,
Yeah.
all the things. Do you have any organizing hacks for moms on the go, whether it's something in the car or something?
Yes. So storage solutions on the back of the seats
Oh.
to store your wipes, hand sanitizer, but also having a trash can in your car as well. Like the little ones that can go in your center console. There's a lot of different ones on Amazon. I'll be sharing a little bit more about that in January.
Share all that.
I will. But having areas for their books or for their snack area, because obviously, as we know, kids, it's just disaster. And don't get me wrong, my car, sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
this is wild. I even have storage stuff to have them store it. But
So in theory, your thought with it behind the seat, is that
behind the
they
seat,
would do it.
they would do it if they're of age. But if you have small new babies, just having a little area, if your console allows for it. I'm going to share that it's an Amazon
Like little
product
trash,
that has like little separated compartments. So you can have one for your little trash area, one for coins, lip gloss, like whatever, the baby's bottles.
Yeah, I keep a bin in my trunk, like a bin with my handles on it.
Yeah, no, and I would,
It
that's
has like randomness that I actually use often.
yeah. It's
Paper
called the
towels,
transition bin of the car.
Literally.
Like, so when you're going to get your car cleaned out,
Yeah.
have that bin, and that's so good that you already have that in your back of your car. So then you load all the stuff up, and then you can reorganize it into where it needs to go. But
Love it.
just for your everyday when you're driving, too, having that so you can hand the snacks and hand the whatever they need. I mean, my
kids.
shoulders are
Oh my
pop off
gosh,
sometimes.
I know.
But-
I know. How do you stay? Or I mean, it sounds like you're already a naturally organized person. So it's a silly question to ask. How do you stay organized? But with kids, like you said, it's different. And obviously, husband, what are any hacks for how do you personally stay organized?
Yes. So I am very organized. It's just a double-ended sword of just like but it's great. I live off of a calendar, like on a Sunday, like when it comes to our family, to stay organized, not just tangibly, but mentally.
No, good point.
Sunday,
right? That's huge.
we have a huge Plexi
Same.
Franco family, like
Same.
Etsy.
Same,
fun.
except my husband will stand in front of me and be like, "What are we doing this weekend?" I'm like, "Really, literally behind
You
you."
can lead a horse to water, but sometimes. But we have it. So on a Sunday to stay organized, just in our everyday life, we'll sit really quickly. Hey, any big things? What we're doing, goals, like to-dos, stuff like that. But internally, like in the house with my children, it really is a labor of love of like, I say, hey girls, we need to.
Yes.
If we play with one thing, we're going to put it away. Like, and that's just me. But at the same time, they're not always going to do it.
Yeah, they're still so young.
They're
but
still
also,
so young.
it's a good time to like incorporate responsibility.
It's never too late to say. And then going through the transition bins, once they get full, take it to the local donation thrift stores. Everyone's in need of something. And the less that you own, the less you need to organize. So
That's true. Gosh, I envy my friends, one in particular who obviously, who is a minimalist. Like she is a true minimalist.
Which is beautiful.
Honestly,
like I wish I could be that too.
Freaking goals. I wish too.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I respect it so much.
Same. It is just very impressive.
Yeah. And I just like to always remind clients, like, don't overwhelm yourself. Start small. Start in a small space, like a little bathroom, or don't. And if you can maintain the system of just doing the little organizing tidy ups at the end of the night, the kids are down, or you're not.
Is that when you do it? Obviously.
Oh yeah, when the kids are down.
That's the only time.
It's the only time. But to wake up in the morning and be like, okay, here we go.
Yep.
Here we go again. Your closet's ready for you. Take on your day, and to empower you to have your self-esteem and your mind mentally ready for it. That's where organizing really will help elevate in your life and elegantly organize your life.
I love it. Well, we're on the brink of a new year. I feel like this has motivated me to get organized, and I'm so excited that you're bringing this to continuing to offer your services.
I am
to
too.
So
I am too.
Tell me what we can expect from Elegantly Organized in 2025.
Yes. So we are starting small this year, just getting it all ready. But 2025, I'm really excited to grow, obviously, and be the go-to service for people who are looking for those organizing needs and that white glove service of let us take it off your plate and create a beautiful system and space for you.
Right.
But definitely Elegantly Organized is going to be more active on social media.
Love it.
And with the help of our RPM family. Yes, yeah. But
so exciting.
We're really going to start giving more tips, tricks. Reach out to us on social media with any questions. We're here to help. And kind of we're going to be setting some like little challenges for our clients and new followers of like, if you have any spaces that you need help with, here's your tip that we can help you with. And then another area that we really want to get involved with in 2025 is philanthropic areas as well of how our services can maybe help the community. The city center is a great space that helps individuals and families and women and children. And they have a clothing store that's donated by different businesses. They have a barber shop. So how we can go in and help organize for them to create a really peaceful space. So that's another thing that's
so great.
on my mind and hoping to. So hopefully we'll connect with more community members here in the Central Valley and be able to really connect and collaborate together.
Love it. Love it. Well, can't wait to see what you do this next year.
I'm excited.
And Instagram at elegantly.organized, right?
That's where we are.
Love it.
Well,
Thanks, Allie.
thank
This
you.
was so
This was
fun.
so fun.
Loved
So
having
fun.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Feel free to rate and review this episode here and connect with us on Instagram if you have any thoughts, questions, or any guest suggestions. Thanks.